Hi everyone. Today we're going to be talking about something really interesting. It's very relevant these days, and it's about cryptocurrency taxation. So let me just go here, and we're going to be discussing cryptocurrency taxation. That is, when there's a sale of a cryptocurrency that you held as an investment, basically, what is the tax impact of it? What's the rate to be charged, etc., etc. And we're now going to be getting into what is cryptocurrency and what uh, what is blockchain and the other aspects relating to it, because that's not my domain. But I can talk to you about what the taxation is, and it's anyway a very relevant topic these days. But I was curious to know what the tax impact would be. Is there any specific provisions in the Income Tax Act, or do we have to apply the provisions that are already there? Was there any amendments? So that's what I was just curious about, because it is a pretty relevant topic these days, right? So when we talk about the taxation of cryptocurrencies, basically there are no specific provisions mentioned in the law. So nowhere will you see the word cryptocurrency. There are specific provisions with respect to other types of securities, obviously, shares, debentures, etc. Now, your business trusts, all your REITs, InvITs, all those things are there. But still, now for cryptocurrency, there are no specific provisions. So, generally, for investments and such, we apply the provisions of Section 45, which is capital gains generally. So, those would be the same provisions that would be applied for cryptocurrencies as well, because the charging section, which is section 45, says that a profit or a gain that's arising from a transfer of a capital asset will be chargeable to capital gains in the previous year when the transfer took place. So there are two aspects here. We have to look at whether a transfer took place and whether it is a capital asset that has been transferred. So you talk about capital asset, cryptocurrency should come within the definition of capital asset, because it is one of the wordings inside section 2 subsec clause 14 is property of any kind. So property can be movable property, immovable property, tangible, intangible. So cryptocurrency can be considered as an intangible asset. Even when you look at it from India's 38 point of view, yes, it would be considered as an intangible asset, rather than India's 32 financial asset. So here also we would consider it as a capital asset. And when we talk about transfer, yes, transfer has a very wide definition in the Income Tax Act. There is a lot. So if you look at the Bear Act, transfer, there's sale, exchange, relinquishment, etc. So many things are covered in transfer. So sale will be considered as transfer. So it will be chargeable to capital gains as per the normal provisions, as per the charging section. So what is the method of charging will obviously be uh, calculated under section 48, where it's the general provision. See, if you know capital gains, then there is nothing much else. Cryptocurrency is just another capital asset which you will be um, calculating the capital gains for. So it will obviously be a full value of consideration minus your expenses incurred on the transfer, minus your cost of acquisition, or you can index it also, because indexation will be applicable here to general provisions. Section 55 of general provisions will be applicable here, and cost of improvement or index cost of improvement will also be applicable if any. And the period of holding, yeah, period of holding here will be 36 months, because it will come under the others criteria. It won't come under the immovable property or unlisted shares or listed shares, and those are units of UTI, etc. It won't come under the 12-month, 24-month category. So it will come under the 36-month category for period of holding. So if your period of holding is up to 36 months, then it will be a short-term capital asset. If it is greater than 36 months, it will be a long-term capital asset, and respectively STCG, LTCG will be calculated. Now, one aspect here when we are looking at section 55 and when we're looking at the cost of acquisition, of course if it is a purchased asset, then the cost of acquisition will be the purchased price. But if it is a self-generated, because you can mine certain cryptocurrencies, I mean, yeah, that's what I hear. You can mine cryptocurrencies, and when you mine it, it will be considered a self-generated asset. So it will be difficult to ascertain what is the cost. So there, generally the self-generated assets, the cost of acquisition for a self-generated asset will be nil. BC Srinivasa Shetty's um, case law can be applied here because self-generated, in that case law, it is self-generated goodwill. Uh, won't be like, the case law says that if there is uh, transfer of self-generated goodwill, then it won't be considered as capital gains, because you cannot ascertain the cost of acquisition. It will be not applicable. So some number minus not applicable will be not applicable rather than that number itself. So that may be applied, but then again, there was a deeming fiction where amendment was made where the transfer of a self-generated goodwill, cost of acquisition will be nil, will be deemed as nil. So you can apply that here also, and this is not goodwill, but still you can apply that here also, and you can put the cost of acquisition as nil. So I feel that is still an ambiguous point. We'll see how it develops further. Next, we talk about the rate. Rate is pretty simple. If it is long-term capital gains, direct 20% flat under section 112, because it's section 112A, and for STCG also section 111A won't be applying here because it's not a share, and the other two categories also. So you won't be applying those rates, those specific rates. You'll be applying LTCG's 20%, and if it is STCG, it will be at the normal rates itself, as per the provisions. So I feel that's all that's there for taxation of cryptocurrencies. Not much, not as of now. It's not really complicated, but however, in the future, government can very well make a retrospective amendment uh, where specific taxation is there. So that can always be done, and if you sell certain holdings that you have right now, it can always uh, be subject to tax retrospectively. Can happen. Don't know if it will, but yeah. So I think that I just wanted to discuss that. It interested me, and I thought it would be good to share this knowledge. That's it from me. Thanks. Bye.